So you're a professional abstractor, you're doing title searches. How do you handle a request for a difficult title search? One thing that a lot of abstractors will do is to try to avoid difficult searches or harder to do research on real estate records. My recommendation is to look at harder searches as an opportunity for more profit potential. For example, if you are a title searcher that does, let's say, a current owner search, and let's say typically that would be something that would be a $50 expense to your client, and they come up with a search that has a little more complexity, a little more difficult, maybe you can't find the property, maybe it's got more complex records, many abstractors will refuse that search or put it at the bottom of the barrel. Instead of working with the client to educate the client, to talk to them about the fact that that search is more complex, it's going to take some more time, it may be an extra $15 or $20 or $30. So let's say instead of $25, the search is going to be $75. As long as that client understands that there's a legitimate reason why the expense is higher, they're going to appreciate you sharing that with them. They may not appreciate spending $25 more for the search, but at least they know there's a reason for it and you don't do it every time. It'll actually be a way to retain that client. Otherwise, the client is going to have to go find somebody else to do the search that you refuse, and they might send their other searches to that same source. So trying to work with that customer to get their searches done, even if they're more difficult. Don't put them at the bottom of the barrel and let them sit for a week or two without doing them just because they're hard. Work with the client to make the price high enough to still make it a priority for you to complete. What about commercial title searches? Many title examiners and abstractors will refuse commercial properties. Sometimes it has to do with the fact that their E&O insurance doesn't cover commercial title searches. Well, why not upgrade your E&O insurance so it does cover? Let's say you're spending a couple $1,000s a year on errors and omissions. Maybe upgrade that to a policy that does cover commercial title research, even if it costs an extra $1,000 a year, $3,000. You might think, well, I don't want to spend the extra $1,000. Well, what if you get one extra commercial title search a month? That would be $1,200 a year. That would more than cover your cost of commercial. And I can guarantee you, you'll get more than one commercial title search order per month once the word gets out that you will do those searches. What happens if you keep your prices low and just do only the easy searches? Well, what will happen is you won't be able to keep up with the demand for more difficult searches, and you'll have more competition at that lower price point. At some point, you won't be able to continue to turn out the good work because you'll be so busy with these cheap searches at the low price point, you won't even be able to do them all. What you want to do is have a higher revenue point so that the searches you're doing are more applicable to your skill level and expertise. Here's the thing. If you have a title search as a current owner search at $50 and you find one of them occasionally that's more difficult that you upgrade the price to $75, that's like getting a half of a new search without having to go through the process of taking an order and doing all the steps. You can actually just spend a little more time on that one search and have more revenue. One of the common observations that we have in the title industry with clients is that it's hard to find searchers who do more difficult research. And if you can be that type of abstractor that's a go-to person for hard searches, you'll collect more clients. You may start out with just the hard ones. That's okay. Charge accordingly. If you're only doing the hard ones, charge accordingly. If clients are only sending you difficult searches, that's okay. Charge accordingly. You can be their go-to person for the hard searches. As soon as they have a blip or a problem with their provider for the easy ones, you'll get those too. But in the meantime, even if you don't, do all the hard searches. Instead of doing 5 $20 searches a day, do 3 $100 searches a day. You'll spend less time and you'll make more money. What if you're on the other side of a client defection? What if you lose a client? Well, if that happens, it may be a rare thing if you turn out quality work, be sure to be in contact with that client for the next few weeks. That's a vulnerable time for them where their new vendor or their new source for their title searches may not be keeping up with the level that you did. It's a vulnerable time. They might have just had a bad day. Maybe you got a search back to them late. Maybe something happened wrong with the search. Don't let that client go away without a fight. Let them go somewhere else. Give them a couple days. Call them back. Tell them you apologize. Tell them you want them back. maybe wait another week, check in, see how they're doing, see if they have any overflow searches they can send to you. Give them a way out that they can save face. Ask for some overflow searches. Ask for a search maybe in another county. But do something to keep in contact with them, because remember, they're in a new relationship with a vendor, and it might not be as comfortable as talking to you, and they might realize that it was a mistake to leave you in the first place. So that's a vulnerable time for them. Difficult searches, look at them like an opportunity, not something that's annoying or difficult to do. It's a way to make more money as a professional title abstractor.